think going around here, I absolutely adore the Ford Anglia at the front there. So it's cool.
It's much smaller in real life.
It does appear so. But when I first learned to drive, it was through my school, and they had a battered old Ford Anglia, and we had to pay something like 50p. And our games teacher took us around a track on our games field.
Wow,
so
that's cool.
And I was lucky because my grandfather did something which would definitely not be allowed today. That when we were kids, he allowed us to help change gear.
Oh.
We were in the passenger seat.
Highly illegal.
Highly illegal. But what it did, it helped me get used to the sound of the engine and the sound of when to change gear. You know. Anyway, that's a sidetrack.
Beautiful car, beautiful car. I actually tried to sit into it and realized I can't physically fit in. I'm 6'1". I went, no, it's not happening. So Simon, we've all seen you in the very first Harry Potter movie where you played so brilliantly the Hufflepuff house ghost, the Fat Friar. Have you yourself been sorted into a Hogwarts house?
I am a Hufflepuff.
Unbelievable.
No, it's I thought, you know, it came up on Facebook or somewhere, which house are you? So I sort of answered some of the questions. And then it just said I was Hufflepuff, so I was meant to be.
Now, did you answer the questions honestly and truthfully? Because the Pottermore quiz can be manipulated.
I will confess now that at least 50% was a guess.
And do you share the qualities of Hufflepuff?
Well, I like to include everybody, and I enjoy wine.
No, kids, when we say wine, we mean juice.
Juice. Yes,
we're talking juice.
Grape juice.
Grape juice, indeed. So tell me, Simon, when you were shooting the movie, the very first movie, had you any idea this was going to become the global sensation? Such a huge, I mean, look at this. This is 25 years after the first book, and we're still talking about the movies, obsessed with the movies. Did you have any idea, shooting that first movie, what you were getting yourself into?
Well, at the time, it was the thing to be associated with. So I had my very first experience of being chased down the road by paparazzi. Once they worked out I was associated with the film. I did know about Harry Potter, but another confession. Harry Potter didn't really grab me initially. I'm very, very sorry. But one day I had a voucher of buy 3 books for the price of 2 at wherever, can't remember. And so I went and got 2 books I particularly wanted, and then from the 3rd book, and I was looking around, and just then I could see it now. There was this shelves of books, and in the middle shelf there was just 1 copy of the Philosopher's Stone. And I don't know about any other of you, but if you find something on the shelf and it's just 1, I feel very sorry for it. So I buy it anyway. But I did say to myself, okay, let's see what all the fuss is about. So then I got home and I put it on my shelf, and it stayed there for about 3 months.
Oh.
I was intending to read it, but I was, busy with other things. But then I got the call for the audition. And it literally was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the audition at 10 the following morning. So I phoned a friend of mine who was a complete Harry Potter fan, and she not only told me who the Fat Friar was, but she was able to tell me what page he first appears, which was gratifying. So I got there, and lo and behold, it was. So I then read a couple of chapters and things. So the first question at the audition is, have you read the book? Because it was the book at that time. I said, I know exactly who the Fat Friar is.
Awesome.
That's how I
nailed it then.
But there we go. And so then you just know a sense that there is going to be a phenomenon.
Yeah.
But not what it is. I mean, it's now completely worldwide. Rather like Doctor Who, really.
Absolutely.
So I'm very lucky I'm associated with both. And it was a wonderful experience to make the film. Absolutely fantastic. I was overwhelmed, excited, and frightened at the same time. Because you just turn around and there's there's Maggie Smith. Oh, there's Alan Rickman.
A sea of stars, quite literally.
Yeah, and you sort of picture yourself.
Now going back to that book, was that a first edition? Was it a hardback? You know, there weren't a lot of...
It was a paperback.
Okay.
It was a paper, but I will admit it took me about 5 chapters. But then once I got past 5 chapters, I was absolutely hooked. So I've read it. I've read them all. So
you were under a spell.
I was under a spell. It was just extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. And you know, you're at drama college, and there are some things you say you want to do, and of course you want to be in a popular film, a popular American film that will be recognised worldwide. And of course, it's Warner Brothers who pay my royalties, and I suppose the first time I got a sense of, oh, what have I got into, is one day sitting in front of the mirror and they were taking my wig off. By the way, I look like Anne Widdecombe when I put the wig on. Zoe Wanamaker came up to me and there was a whole pile of books, and she dumped them on the table and she said, "They're for you." I said, "What? What am I? It's there for you to sign." I said, "I could have signed them." "Well, you are the Fat Friar."
Amazing.
She said, and then, as I looked up, in the mirror reflection at the back was Alan Rickman, who went like that. That was my sole conversation with Alan Rickman. So there you go.
A man of so few words. Okay, guys, we're going to put it out to you. Do you guys out there have a question for Simon, the Fat Friar, this young person in the front? Do we have a microphone? Helen?
It's all right.
We've lost. 1 second. You're close enough to me.
If you could play as any other character, who would it be?
No pressure.
I'd quite like to play Peeves, although I'm not physically built to play Peeves, but because just to be a little menace and sort of do tricks on people and things. I think the idea of being a naughty but not dangerous poltergeist does sort of tickle my fancy.
And for a lot of people, he was one of the biggest omissions from the movies.
It's extraordinary, and it is what I have found is one of the things like this. If I mention Peeves and the Death Day Party, some people's eyes just glaze over. They have no idea what I'm talking about, and that tells me you haven't read the books.
Exactly.
And we did that. You see, the 4 main ghosts and a few others. For the first 5 weeks of filming, we were held up because John Cleese was the nearly headless Nick, but at the same time he was filming his cue for Bond, and at the time Bond had priority over Harry Potter. It would be interesting to know what it would be now.
If only they knew.
Yeah. So, and he was delayed on his Bond, so that's why we had 5 weeks, and that's why we had this wonderful opportunity of working with Rick Mail, who was Peeves, and we did lots of improvised routines and things, and had a hoot of a time. And on a personal basis, I'm really sorry that none of it appeared, because I want to see what we did.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because when you are filming, particularly on green and blue screen, you got no idea really. You got your own imagination, but you got really no idea how it looks. And Rick Mail, he did some wonderful, wonderful stuff. But hey ho, that's showbiz, that's what people say.
Indeed. Thank you, Simon. Anybody else out there got a question? We got a little witch over here.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any funny or embarrassing moments on set?
Have I?
Any? Say it again.
Funny and embarrassing.
Okay. Any funny or embarrassing moments on set? Again, no pressure.
Our costumes were very heavy, very thick, and didn't bend easily. Right? So when we were on the ground and we had to wait, they gave us lean-tos, thinking to not chairs, lean-tos, which were quite good, but my goodness, it did affect your thighs, and the top of your leg terribly. And one time, my legs gave way, so I collapsed on the floor. And so there was the comedy moment of trying to lift a baby elephant.
That sounds awful.
So that's another occasion. Another occasion I recall is in the main, when we did most of our stuff, we were flying. Wonderful experience. And of course, the idea of flying, that's when I become a little self-conscious about how much I weigh. But the stunt crew convinced me that the system could fly up a tank. And I absolutely know I am not as heavy as a tank, no matter what people might say. So that was good. But it was them watching them, because I'm here, and they were probably just over there where that lady in yellow is. And you could see they could more or less use one finger, and just move this lever like that, and whee! Up in there like that. And so I was just loving it. But what you have to rely on is they let you down.
Yeah. And
on one occasion, they was called for a comfort break, and they all ran off, and I was still hanging there, desperate for a wee. And I'm going, hello, is anybody there? Hello. And I was just fearing that they might find a little puddle underneath me. But that's what else on set of Harry Potter. It was mostly exciting things. Again, because of our outfits and things, we went from one place to another on a golfing buggy, and I was always sitting at the back, looking out. So when the golfing buggy was going forward, I was sort of going, woo, like this. It was like the scene out of 2001, but then that's when I saw Richard Harris. Suddenly the golfing buggy stopped for whatever reason, and just there was Richard Harris. And so I just found myself saying, hello. And he went, morning. And then as I was just about to ask something else, then we went off again. So again, that was my sole conversation with morning.
Another legend.
Yeah. What else was? There were so many things. Radcliffe had toothache.
Oh.
Yes, and several.
Didn't hear this.
And several of us were asked to sort of babysit him, as if it were, for a minute whilst they sorted out a dentist. And there was some boxing game. As you can imagine, I have no idea. But by the time I picked up the unit and worked out how to use it, he'd beaten me. So that was it. So that's what else? Rupert Grint was lovely. One time we were sitting next together, and he was very cheery. But it was just amazing, just looking around. I was pinching myself. And the other extraordinary thing is I was sent a car. Every morning a car turned up. I had my own designated driver. His name was Warren.
Nice.
And we had good chats about his kids on the way to the studios, on the way back. And all this. And then at the premiere, they brought another limousine to pick me up from the house, to take me all the way to Leicester Square. And it was only then that we found, sitting through the film, that all of what we'd done had been cut out. And I only appear literally for a few seconds at the sorting ceremony. And it was so soul-destroying. It really was. I won't hesitate to let you know that I did have a slight weep on the way home, because I didn't expect Harry Potter to make me a superstar, but at the time I needed something to help elevate my status. So it was so frustrating. But I try and make a joke of it now when I talk to drama students, and I just say that my name in the credits is on screen longer than I am. And that's what you have to put up with sometimes.
Yeah. Well, they are the joys of acting.
And the trials. That's showbiz, lovely.
That's showbiz. Okay, guys, we've got time for one more question. This little girl there, Helen, is coming behind you right now.
What was your favorite Harry Potter movie?
Being unbiased, I think.
No, being unbiased, I think it has to be the last one. It really does. Because the revelation of the relationship of Snape, and again, just classic brilliance from Alan Rickman. 8 films, we hate the guy. Absolutely hate him. And then right at the end when he's dying and he produces this tear, having learnt the relationship with Harry's mother. Even now thinking about it, I feel a tear coming. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I loved it. But to be honest, I love them all. Having been a little wary of Harry Potter from the very beginning, I am a fan, and I do watch it when it's on the telly, especially when it's the Philosopher's Stone, because that means it's an extra 0.03 pence I might get. Yeah.
Okay, guys, that was Simon Fisher-Becker. Let me hear a big round of applause. Thank you all. Simon, thank you so much. It was an absolute honor to speak to you today.
Thank you.